All right, separate traders, welcome on back here to close things out for this week, this Friday, April 8th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Cliff. We have Norman, we have Leda all joining us here, loud and clear from them all. Great to see Michael and Chuck as well. Perfect. And hey, if you're joining us once again on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, welcome on back as well, folks. We have the PHIO trade on the screen to begin. Hey, it's at the highs. It's more of a level 1 or 2 type of stock. Really good liquidity on the order book. It's making a steady trend of higher lows and recently breaking to make a new high of the day just now. So right away, it will go on our watch list. Now, let me ask for all of us live inside the cyber group room really quick, because we've had a pretty boring early afternoon, be honest with you. Market's been kind of slumping back down a bit, but really nothing really to write home about up until right now. So let's have a little fun. For Nina and Steve and Cliff and Chuck and Michael and Leda, all of us inside the cyber group room, where do you see resistance on this trade? What's the next resistance on PHIO? I want you to tell me, and then I'll tell you where I see resistance. I don't have bookmap or level 4, otherwise as we nickname it, open. So the answer is on the screen. So a few of us saying 150, a few of us saying 155. We got a 160. We got a 165. How about a 170? Sound like an auctioneer. All right. Well, nonetheless, this ended up breaking above 150, albeit it pulled back under it. The answer I was looking for, it was on level 3. Look on the matrix. If you follow the big money, folks, if you follow the big money, just like Fausto talks about every day here when he does the morning meeting, he does his introductory to day trading webinar. He was on Wealth 365 yesterday, talking all about where to find the big money. So with that, we ended up seeing 101,000 shares on the ask, right up top at 165. So, be on the lookout for that iceberg order, right? But for right now, the PHIO trade definitely goes on our watch list here. All right. Let's go right from top to bottom. Otherwise, aside from the PHIO, if there's any of the other stocks from this morning, at least, not so much, going into this meeting, but, from the morning, we'll look to follow up on pretty quickly. The Mdvl trade, well, said not so much for this afternoon or going into this afternoon. You can see Mdvl just tanked here right now, but ended up making a pretty nice pop shortly after the market opened up. Ended up breaking under and then right back over its opening print. And then from there, broke over 2, moved up really nicely from there. So the Mdvl trade ended up running up pretty nicely up towards high of the day, 262. Pulled back down. I don't know what happened just now that led to that drop down, that big pullback. That could be news of like, a common stock offering or a secondary offering of shares. I'm not even gonna, take a look. I mean, this trade's cooked to me. So I don't know unless if it could re-break, right back above 225 ish. All right, so we got BCYC next here. Hey, nice pop here so far, taking us into the afternoon. I didn't really follow this or see this as much up until right now. So, nice run from 38 to 50. It is shortable, so if it does pull back down a slight amount, it could be a pretty good short if it craps out. But it's got a really thin order book, so you need to be careful on that. So I don't know. I feel like it ended up making such a big move from, earlier this afternoon. If the liquidity was a lot better, I wouldn't mind it, but for right now, it's a Friday. We'll pass on it. All right, TCAT, ATER. Got the Oxy warrants here on the gainer side. Let me take a look at Oxy OXY, just the stock. It's up pretty nice right now. Testing resistance off of a couple weeks back here. You can see. All right, so we'll put Oxy on the watch list for right now. The NAT trade, same thing. Ended up making a nice push earlier today, more of like a tanker shipping stock. Ended up making a nice push shortly after the open, and you know popped and dropped just now, but still looks interesting. I don't mind slipping this on our watch list just at the back end. All right, to finish up the gainer side here, I saw BFRI. I mean, man, this thing completely crashed. Popped up shortly after the open, topped off right around 535 ish, 540. All right, so BCRX going into the afternoon looks pretty interesting still. It's right at the lows, so it's been a pretty good short shortly after the market opened up. Obviously after the big drop off in pre-market here. But for right now, still looks pretty interesting. For right now, ended up pulling back down closer to 11. Ended up bottoming out at 11.16. I would assume for there to be a pretty big iceberg order once that 11 level gets tested, if it does. But for right now, it's easy to borrow. Still kind of dropping back down a bit. You can kind of call it a lower high, or you can kind of call it a higher low in building. But I feel like the afternoon, you're going to see this begin to break down a breakdown a bit more. RXT, not much happening there. Um, hey, LAC stock from earlier this week and more last week and the week before. You just see like really took off, broke new highs, I think, or came close to all time highs. Didn't break the all time high back from last year, but ended up making a nice drop back down here today, and could be a good short. Cannon still dropping off from yesterday's big move. Um, but I'll tell you, I think that's pretty much all I got here, folks. If there's anything else that you see that's like up big, down big, making a really good move for us to try and follow or trade, then type it in the chat board. Let me know. Mitch on YouTube calling out the BILI trade. It's at the lows. Looking at some of the other like, maybe Chinese based stocks, Neo, IQ, BEKE, PDD. None of them are really near the lows. Billy doesn't look too bad as a short. It's right there. Brian inside Cyber Group, just going to jump back and forth between the two. He says, got slammed this week. Expensive, but EPAM, nice move. Yeah, I got slammed more like the very end of February, beginning of March, and then it took a while, but right back up there now, trying to make a move from earlier today. It's kind of building like this channel here, this wedge. It's not really going much of anywhere right now. Yeah, the PHIO. I mean, this looks as good as we could find right now. So we only have 3 on the main watch list for right now, folks. So I don't think we really need to put a big list out there. Mike says the Oxy trade. Yeah, that's one of 3 on there. PHIO, Oxy, and then the BCRX as a short. Eagle, he says he's at work, unable to watch the order flow. Do you see anything? On AR, let me just pull up level 4 right now for you. I don't mind doing that. We got a little time here. Really tight spread and good liquidity on the books. So as far as like, tradable stock, that's what we would want to look for. Little, slow but steady across the day today. Looks like it's breaking all-time highs. Ah, no, not all-time highs. Approaching support. that we had back from even as early as 2015, right around that 34-ish area. Just getting Bookmap open for you here. In terms of AR, at least the stock that you're looking at, Eagle on YouTube, got about 10,000 shares on the ask, roughly off of 33.77. That is 33.77. So that would be a resistance right now. All right. No problem at all. All right, folks. That pretty much just about wraps it up. I took a sip of water right before I started this meeting, and I've been like holding back. I choking on it. So I appreciate you sticking with me there. Brian says EQT at the high of the day. Cliff says PHIO in for about 21 cents. Nice job from Cliff. And Chuck too. Cliff and Chuck. I'm sorry, my dyslexia is catching up with me. Chuck got 27 cents. Cliff got 21 cents. Very nice. EQT is not looking terrible. You know, it's up 5+% at the highs. A little expensive though in terms of the pace that it's moving at. You know, I say that because hey, it's a nice steady move. You know, if you're in it already, I'm sure you're doing pretty nice. But for a $33 stock for us here inside the live trading room, or $38 stock, I would want to see it move even like sharper, move faster, even for us to, you know, go in and out on quickly. You know, so for right now, this ended up making a nice run from today, made an even bigger run back from yesterday. The question is, where is it going to begin to pull back from? That's all. All right, folks. Bitcoin right now is at 42.8. I'll come out with a video over the weekend for you, probably about 10-15 minute long video, just giving you my thoughts on Bitcoin over the next 1 to 2 weeks. I ended up getting out on my position in full. I took out a quarter from earlier this week. I was originally in from 39.7. It was. I misannounced the price that I got in from, but I showed my entry though. I showed you that back from like a few weeks ago, but I ended up getting out in full across last night into this morning, like midnight-ish. But you know, I'm gonna look to get back in. We'll see what happens. Even like right around here, around 42.5 doesn't look too bad. But I'll come out with a more detailed video going into Sunday, we'll call it. All right. From John, lastly, inside the cyber group room, you have the SBSW. Nah, this thing's not going anywhere right now. Doesn't seem it. So I don't want to hold my breath waiting for that move to happen. I've been holding my breath long enough, John, for a lot of these moves that we've been calling out inside the trading room. So that's where I say you want to be a little picky and choosy right now heading into the weekend as is. We'll take it, though, between PHIO, Oxy, and the BCRX trades. You know, that's a good starting point. And then when Rich gets on the mic here at 3 o'clock, that's in 17 minutes from now. So there could be a lot that changes from now until 3 o'clock, right? So let's at least start with the PHIO. Let's at least start on Oxy and BCRX2. And then from there, around 3 o'clock, we'll look to rescan the market a bit further and see what else is moving. All right, for all of us on Facebook Live, for all of us on YouTube, a couple of things first and foremost. Happy weekend. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch back with you guys on Monday of this week. Be on the lookout for that Bitcoin video dropping on Sunday. If you have any questions that you would want to chat me about personally, feel more than free to send on over an email right to josh@ctutrading.com. If you wanted to join us live inside our trading room, the Cyber Group trading room, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the yellow banner below to get yourself started on a small 5-day trial. But for Brian, John, Cliff, Leda, Nina, we have Norman, Michael, all of us live inside the room right now. As I said before, Rich will be on momentarily. I'll be back on at 3:30, wrapping things up for us here going into the close. Talk to you soon.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.